2 degrees Celsius. This is the goal of the Paris Climate Agreement, to keep the average global temperature from warming more than 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. It's been about 200 years since the Industrial Revolution. In that time, ever-increasing amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere have helped heat the Earth more than halfway to that point. Let's take a closer look at the last 100 years. From 1920 to 1980, the global temperatures climbed about 0.4 of a degree Celsius. After 1980, that pace more than doubled. In just 40 years, the temperatures have climbed another 0.7 of a degree. In 3 of the last 5 years, temperatures have crossed the 1.2 degree mark. Last year, we reached 1.27 degrees Celsius above late 19th century temperatures. We're dangerously accelerating toward that 2 degrees. And this is only a global average. Many locations around the planet have seen temperatures soar to much higher levels. Large parts of Europe, Greenland, Alaska, and Russia, including Siberia, have already surpassed 2 degrees. And up north, above the Arctic Circle, the warming is over 4 degrees. That extra heat concentrated in the Arctic, well, that's causing a massive melt of polar ice, and it's only getting worse. On average, 14,000 tons of water melt from the Arctic every second. That's more than 4 times the amount of water that goes over Niagara Falls each second. If we stay on our course over the last 10 years, the Earth could hit the 2 degree mark as soon as 2040, and possibly up to 3 degrees by 2060. Only a significant reduction in carbon dioxide emissions quickly will make the Paris goal a reality. Climate scientists say surpassing that milestone will result in more frequent deadly heat waves, drought, and wildfires, making large areas of our planet uninhabitable. And sea levels are, quote, very likely to rise a foot by the end of the century and could rise by even as much as 8 feet. That will likely make hurricanes more powerful, specifically unleashing flooding connected with dangerous storm surges, impacting hundreds of millions of people who live in coastal areas. Our road to 2 degrees is shortening. The time to act, now.
Climate change. It's real, it's serious, and it's up to us to solve it. In the last 2 decades, we've experienced 14 of the hottest 15 years on record. By 2050, drought and chronic water shortages could impact 1 billion people, while millions more will be at risk from coastal flooding. It can seem overwhelming, but there's reason for hope. If we embrace solar and wind power to their full potential, we can cut the world's yearly carbon emissions by 1/3. Already, Germany generates 27% of its electricity from renewables, with a goal of 80% by 2050. Denmark has shown it can produce more wind energy than it can use, and England is building the world's biggest offshore wind farm. Communities large and small are taking steps. A new public building in Mexico City has an exterior that breaks down air pollutants, erasing the effects of 1,000 cars each day. Paris installed street tiles that harvest energy from foot traffic. Other cities are paving streets with smog-eating concrete and sidewalks with recycled materials. Individuals can make a difference too, through the choices we make every day. If every American driver drove 10 miles less each week, it could eliminate more than 100 billion pounds of carbon from the air each year. New innovations are making important strides possible, and more are on the way, but we can't wait. Reimagining our world's energy future will take a shared sense of urgency from countries, companies, cities, and all of us. Working together, real change is possible. Learn more at natgeo.com/climate.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will start our program with a brief overview of Zoom etiquette, followed by the opening prayer and our Philippine national anthem. Please note that we are also live on our GCFB page. Makakalikasang araw po sa ating lahat.
A prayer for our earth. All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of your creatures. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty. Fill us with peace, that we may live as brothers and sisters, harming no one. O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, to recognize that we are profoundly united with every creature as we journey towards your infinite light. We thank you for being with us each day. Encourage us, we pray, in our struggle for justice, love, and peace.
Bayang magiliw, dalas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiid. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baghaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhatit pagsinta, buhay ang langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 412th Kamayan para sa Kalikasan Forum, an environmental forum held monthly since 1990. Kamayan para sa Kalikasan is brought to you every third Friday of the month by Green Convergence, or GC. Today, we are going to delve into the question, are spirituality and earth care related? As announced earlier, we are now live streaming at the GC Facebook page, and a video recording will later be available at the GC website and YouTube channel. I am your moderator, Marie Marciano, a founding member, and former Vice President of GC, former President of Mother Earth Foundation, founder and former President of Sanib Lakas para sa Inang Kalikasan, or SALICA, former Executive Director of Bantay Kalikasan, and many, many more. In short, I am old. Yes, but also, I guess it means I've always been ready to give myself to a good cause. And now, I'm very happy to introduce to you our Balik co-moderator, whom we have missed for some time. He is a retired media practitioner who has engaged with both local and international media outlets. Currently, he is a media and promotions volunteer of Green Convergence. Most importantly, he is the forever of Miss Tessia Oliva, GC's Executive Director. Let us all give a warm welcome to Randy Oliva.
Hello everybody. Hello Marie.
Randy.
Ang
Hi,
ganda
Randy.
ng introduction mo. Yes, that's right. I'm the grand alalay of GC. And
Tagal na
I've
miss
been
ka
busy
namin,
for a while.
Randy.
No, medyo
We
busy
missed
ako
you.
for a while.
Yeah.
Medyo kaya nawala. Pero balik na yung tambalan na Donnie and Marie. Randy
Yes,
and Marie.
Randy and Marie. Yes, yeah.
She's a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the participants first. No, I think we're a very nice audience mix. We have
Yeah.
12 from the academe. These are a list of people who have pre-registered. No? We have 6 from the various religious orders. We have 6 also from our network members, NGOs and social civic organizations, 2 from government, and 2 from the private sector. So it's a very nice mix once again.
Yeah. We always have a nice mix, and from different parts of the country as well, no?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I think the going online was a blessing because we can have everyone join us.
Oo nga, oo nga.
Yeah.
Also, one reason why I agreed to co-moderate again is because of the theme, the topic is so nice. Huh? It's something very close to my heart because I'm a biker. And this is so real to me, no? Spirituality and earth care. Maybe I
Yes.
can share
That's
that later
true.
on, towards
Yeah.
the end. All right.
Yeah, right.
Go
When
on
we
with
have
it.
our closing, remarks.
Right, right, right.
Yes. Okay, shall we get on with the forum?
Yeah, let's
To give
come
us a
on, go
jump
on.
start on our topic today, please welcome an esteemed leader of the Philippine Environment Movement, one of the strong pillars of environmental education, and the president of Green Convergence, Miss Victoria Segovia. Morning,
All
Vicky.
right.
Good afternoon, Marie. Thank you very
Ay,
much.
good
Can you hear
afternoon.
me
All
well?
right.
Sorry.
Well from Negros.
Wow.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Father Jet. Nice to see you here from Negros. Okay. Your landscape and your seascape is a product of your mindscape. We just celebrated the season of creation for the whole month of September up to October 4, the feast of St. Francis of Assisi. In the Philippines, the Catholic liturgy extended this celebration up to the Indigenous Peoples Sunday on October 13, 2025. This is to honor the significant role of our indigenous peoples in the sustainable preservation of Mother Earth. Taking care of Mother Earth did not start with the Catholic Church. The first celebration of Creation Day started with the Orthodox Church. In fact, the Philippine Catholic Church started celebrating the season of creation ahead of the global church. Taking care of creation is the task of everyone on earth. Hence, ako ang bukas. Each of us has a responsibility to hear the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. We are fortunate to be here this afternoon to discuss and to reflect our responsibility to take care of our Mother Earth, our only habitat, with very esteemed speakers. I do not believe that I will experience Planet B in my lifetime. Hence, I have to see to it that I and the people I love can be assured of a safe, healthy planet. And we will be hearing many facets of eco-spirituality this afternoon. Not only the Christian, but also the spirituality of the indigenous peoples and also that of our other denomination. We are lucky that we will be listening to a multifaceted prism of how we, the earthlings, can join the movement of our sacred task to care for the earth as our loving service to our Creator. Have a fruitful session on this, our 412th Kamayan Forum, where we reflect deeply on our kinship to the whole of creation. Let me end by greeting our resource person, Vicky Tauli Carpus. Happy birthday tomorrow. Thank you very much and have a great session today.
Wow, thank you, Vicky, for your insights on our profound topic today. But before we plunge into the discussions, allow me to greet Vicky, Vicky also a very happy birthday tomorrow, and to give you a short rundown of the program flow. The forum has two major parts. Part one consists of the speakers' presentations to be given without Q&A interruptions. And part two is the open forum where you can then freely ask your questions to be answered directly by the speakers concerned. You know, at times though, we need to make slight changes to this standard flow to accommodate some speakers' time availability. Since questions will not generally be entertained during part one, it is advised to write down your questions to be sure you don't forget. That's it. You have some guidelines to add, right, Randy?
Oh, yes, Marie. A few guidelines for the participants, no? To avoid distracting ambient noise, all participants are requested to keep your microphones on mute for the duration of the webinar, except when during the open forum when participants are allowed to speak. Secondly, in the meanwhile, you may use the chat box for comment.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
All right.
Let's move on. Our first speaker is a Filipino Jesuit priest and scientist who served as the 30th president of the Ateneo de Manila University. He holds a PhD in atmospheric sciences from Georgia Tech, an MS in physics from Marquette University, and BS in physics from Ateneo de Manila. He was a member of the National Panel of Technical Experts of the Climate Change Commission of the Philippines and of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. He was a lead reviewer of greenhouse gas inventories for the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and a member of the UN Consultative Group of Experts for Developing Countries. Friends, we are happy to bring you Jose Ramon Tison Villarin, SJ, better known as Father Jet to his friends and students and acquaintances and colleagues. Father Jet, good
Hello.
Hi, Father
afternoon.
Jet.
Hello, Marie. Is the sound okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
hear you
Oh,
loud and clear.
oh, good. Thank you. This is an old desktop computer. 2011 pa to, pero okay pa. Anyhow, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to start it off. I have a number of, well, I guess, thoughts that I'd like to share with you. And I don't know how long. How long do I have ba?
You have 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Longer than a homily pala.
Yes,
Sige,
you always have short
I'll,
homilies, but very good ones.
let me just start, I guess, first. This is also the medium can be English, Tagalog.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay. Um, well, let me start first with the words, spirituality. Maybe earth care, we sort of already know, but spirituality sometimes can be a difficult word. For me, the simple definition is really spirituality is a way of relating to God. So, kung yun ang definition natin, siguro I'll start with that. And there are many ways. There are many ways to relate to God. There are also many ways of not relating to God. But now, for this topic, the relationship between spirituality and ecology or earth care is something that I've also wrestled with. So let me start there. In our language, we normally use kalikasan for nature, and so when we look at nature, we sort of, it can be something inanimate for us. May buhay, pero at the same time, it's something that's separate from us. On the other hand, there is another word and it's a spiritual word or a theological word. We use creation sometimes, or sang nilikha, one creation, nilikha. And right away, I think just there's a big difference between the two, between kalikasan and sang nilikha, between nature and creation. When you say creation, then you right away you think of a creator, or at least the one what we see right now. It came from some purpose, some intention. It was not just some random occurrence. This whole thing that we see around us. So when in a way when you say creation, it's a biased word. Um, it says that it's something that has been given to us. It's a gift. And when you see nature as creation, you ask, who's the giver? I mean, who gave or what gave? What gave us this gift? And why? What for? I know, medyo malalim, no, yung mga tanong na to, pero that's what spirituality wrestles with. So when you say creation, then you right away reflect on the giver and the gift. And if it's a gift, this creation, then you cannot feel entitled to it. It's a gift. So there is no sense of entitlement in a way. We did not bring ourselves about. We did not create ourselves into this universe. Or this universe did not just boot itself up. It did not self-generate. Someone or some force started and sustains this thing called creation. And that's where spirituality comes in. When you see nature as creation, pag ang tingin natin sa kalikasan ay sangnilikha, then the immediate reaction, I hope, is humility and gratitude. One cannot feel entitled. One cannot say, I deserve to be alive. I deserve to be here in this universe. I earned this. So and so forth and so on. So this experience of what we call sometimes contingency, of being dependent, is something radical and so essential to one's attitude towards kalikasan or creation. So yun ang first point ko lang. Na malaking bagay kung sabihin natin isang nilikha, imbis na kalikasan lamang. The other point really that I wanted to share with everyone here is that when we look at the history of our relationship to not just to God but to nature, we have sort of lost our bearings. And I think that is human, and that is why even in the account of creation in Genesis, one theologian said, the goal of all this, the whole purpose of creation is not the first day, not the second day, not the third day, not even the sixth day, it's the seventh day, Sabbath. Yun yung pinupuntiryan ng lahat. The seventh day of rest and contemplation. When God rests and says, it has been good, all this is good, to savor the goodness of creation. So when sometimes when you ask them, it's a gift, but where is it headed? What's it for? Things that's the goal. And I think we've forgotten to value that seventh day. I know it's a bit metaphorical, but it just means rest. Pahingahin mo ang sarili mo at ang lupa at ang dagat. I think part of the crisis has been, it's been working the earth and abusing it. And there are cycles and rhythms that we have forgotten. And so we have, in our failure to respect these rhythms, we have brought this crisis upon ourselves. I sometimes think it's a very masculine way of looking at the world. I believe women know what, I think they are more in touch with what rhythms and cycles mean in their own lives. And so this very technocratic, what Pope Francis would sometimes say, this very technocratic mindset has led to the abuse and oppression of nature, of creation. Nawala na yung pahinga. And siguro yun ang sinasabi sa atin ngayon ng crisis na ito. Bakit we've been so aggressive in our development? What for? What's the point of all the economic activity? And I think some of our brothers and sisters who are of different faiths, or even our indigenous brothers and sisters, I think they know what the seventh day can mean and how crucial this is to our own well-being. Ano pa ang gusto kong ibahagi? Alam niyo kasi marami kaya kailangan kong pili-piliin rin. The other one that I wanted to share with you is really what some of the main points of Laudato Si of Pope Francis is this. Pope Francis has been very, even adamant about caring for those at the fringes, the margins. Yung tinatawag niyang las periferias. Yung mga nasa gilid, yung mga nasa laylayan. Usually pag iniisip natin yung mga nasa laylayan, yung mga mahihirap. Pero sabi niya, meron rin isa na tinatabi natin. And that is our common home creation. These two, the poor and nature, these are invisible. Largely invisible to many of us. And because they are invisible, we easily discard them. Madaling etchapuera. So yun, gusto lang niyang paalala sa atin na hindi yun ang gusto ng Diyos. When we sometimes look at spirituality, we sometimes think of it in terms of an interpersonal thing or even transpersonal. Diba? Yung meaning to love God is to love one's neighbor. Saan dyan yung love of creation? Nandyan ba? It's there, but it's invisible, the connection. When you have the parable of, let's say, the Good Samaritan, who is my neighbor? Agad ang iniisip natin, yung nasa lanta, yung ninakawan, yung nahihirapan, the face. And when we think of nature as having a face, we sort of say, meron ba? Even if we say inang kalikasan, Mother Earth or Mother Nature, we attribute something maternal to the earth because it sustains us and it gives life. Yes, but it's still invisible. when we love our neighbor, how do we love our neighbor? O minsan tinatanong ko, where is our neighbor? Where are those who are pushed at the margins? Where are the margins? And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that, well, the ones who are in the margins, the poor, they're also in places where the property values are not so high. They're in the fringes, let's say, of a landfill. Sino bang gustong tumira malapit sa basurahan? Sino bang gustong tumira sa may estero? Sa may ilog? Na madaling matanay ng baha. Diba? So when we say to love God is to love one's neighbor, kung mamahalin natin ang Diyos, ay mahalin natin ang pagmamahal din sa kapwa at sa sarili. Tatanungin rin natin, paano natin mamahalin ang ating kapwa kung hindi natin aasikasuhin din yung pagkain, tubig, saan galing to? Hindi naman to magic lamang. At alam din natin, and we also know that if we do not take care of these lifelines, these vital lifelines, then our love of God is shallow, is a lie. Diba? And we're saying we love God, but we cut the lifelines of people, of communities. And so I hope that when you ask that question, is our spirituality and earth care connected? Oh, very much so. And in fact, that's what Laudato Si and Laudate Deum is trying to remind us again. We need to connect them because, as Pope Francis has time and again told us, the environmental crisis is not just a development crisis, it's a spiritual crisis. We have become less simple. We have been driven to consume, thinking that it's our consumption that will make us happy. I really don't know. I mean, Pope Francis has tried to challenge us. Let's come up with a new economics. Ekonomiya, no? Kasi paano ba tumutubo o umuunlad ang isang ekonomiya? Madalas ang sinasabi, pag hindi bumili ka, pag hindi ka mag-shopping, mawawala ng trabaho yung mga tao. Yun ba? Ganun ba yung pag-andar ng mga ekonomiya? Kailangan paikutin ang pera para lamang umunlad ang isang ekonomiya. One calculation that many of our decision makers or our leaders make is they always look at capital and they look at labor to grow economies or to grow their corporation, to grow their enterprise. And yet, hidden there is nature. Hidden in capital is nature. Hindi natin pinapakilaman na, okay, gagamitin mo ang kapital, saan ba galing? Sa lupa. Tapos, kakalimutan din natin yung basura. Diba? Kasi, syempre, when we consume, hindi naman lahat yan pumapasok lang, may lalabas din. And usually, yun nga, that's what makes it invisible nature. When we flush the toilet, di na natin pinapakilaman. And I guess understandably, so, diba? Kung i-flush ko na, bakit ko pa alamin kung saan napunta yung na-flush ko? Pero that's one of the sources of crisis. We've made things invisible and we want, again, people to be more aware. Science has helped, make things more visible. Saan ba pumupunta? Saan ba nanggaling tubig na to? And only recently, I guess, we've seen that because of our disrespect of some of these rhythms embedded in nature, thinking that we, in our very technocratic, scientific mindset, that we can dominate. Ayun, akala natin pwede na we can defy these rhythms. We can make night into day. We don't have to sleep. It's may ilaw na. Diba? Hindi na kailangan ng pahinga. So I guess let me just close with this is from the Judeo-Christian tradition. Genesis, kasi minsan sinasabi nila, iyon din siguro yung sanhi nung mga problema natin kasi nandun sa nandun mismo sa Biblia daw. Go forth and multiply. And all these things are for you to use. You who are human beings, you are to use them. And so sort of that has been used as a way to justify, our say avarice or aggression when it comes to the environment. Actually, now we're realizing that, sandali, pause. Ano nga ba yung sinabi sa Genesis? There are two creation stories, but anyway, in one of the creation stories, simply this: the Lord God put the man in the garden to do two things, two verbs. In Hebrew, abad, shamar. Abad means to take care, to cultivate, to work on the earth. Bungkalin mo. Galawin mo. Pero, yan din yung second verb, shamar. To cultivate and to care. Yung shamar, care, ibig sabihin to protect, to conserve. So, di ba, parang, ano ba gusto mo? Galawin ko o hindi ko galawin? Nasa sa atin. That is, I guess, the privilege, the honor of being, in a way, created in the image and likeness of God. This, I'm speaking from my Christian and Judeo-Christian tradition. And therefore, the mandate really is, not just to use, but to take care, to be stewards. Ang hirap, alam mo sa akin, steward, ang gandang Tagalog word for steward is katiwala. Katiwala. Pinagkatiwala sa atin. Hindi tayo yung may-ari. Katiwala lamang. And the privilege that's been given to us human beings is to also take care of this creation, to create with God. Co-creator. Imagine. Hindi tayo yung sentro. In fact, what Pope Francis says, this is a misguided anthropocentrism. Sorry, medyo highfalutin yung kanyang sinasabi. Misguided na anthropocentrism. Ibig sabihin lang nun, naliligaw na pagtingin sa ating importansya. Hindi naman sa wala tayong importansya o halaga. Kasi hindi rin maganda yun, sabi niya. That is a false inferiority. Pag ang tingin mo lang, bahagi ka lamang ng mga puno o katulad ka lamang ng mga hayop. Then, that means sometimes that can lead to certain indifference. Tulad lang naman ako, sino ba naman ako, di ba? Wala akong magagawa. That's the other extreme. But the other pole naman is this false superiority na parang ako ang sentro. So ang lahat ng bagay ay nandito para lamang sa akin. And I think we've been disabused of that. I hope we've allowed that to see. And I hope we've seen the consequences of such an attitude. I believe those two verbs are very important. Abad, shamar. Cultivate, okay. Alagaan mo. Kasi pag hindi mo alagaan yung hardin, pwede rin yan masira. But you also need to protect. You also need not to touch it, to keep certain things sort of let be. Give them rest. Hayaan mo lang. So yun, yung balance na yan is the important work of discernment. So I think with that, let me just close with that. I hope that it has given us enough, enough matter for our sharing later. Maraming salamat.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Father Jeff. Very insightful sharing on the creation, especially. What leaped up to me was the scene in the creation where God called man and say, "Here's the earth, here's the creation. Cultivate and use it for your purposes. But more importantly, take care of it." So thank you very much, Father Jeff.
Yes, thank you, Father Jeff.